In return, Lyra told Hana about the galaxy beyond Earth, the dozens of intelligent species, the ancient trade routes, the wonders and dangers of deep space. When it was time to leave, both women felt something had changed between them. They weren't just two beings from different worlds anymore. They were becoming friends. As they approached Earth's orbit 2 days later, Hana sent messages ahead to warn Earth Command. But when they reached the moon, they saw it was too late. Hundreds of silver ships surrounded Earth in a perfect sphere. Some were huge, larger than any ship humans had ever built. "The blockade is complete," Lyra whispered. "We're too late." Hana's communicator finally connected to Earth. A tired-looking man in a military uniform appeared on screen. "Commander Park, you're alive. Where have you been?" "Admiral Jin," Hana said. "I have important information. I've made first contact with an alien species called the Valine. I have one of them with me, a friend. She's here to help us." The Admiral's eyes widened when Lyra moved into view of the camera. "They arrived 3 days ago," he said. "No attacks, yet, but they've shot down 2 of our ships that tried to leave orbit. They say we're under protective quarantine until further notice." "We need to get down there," Hana said. "Lyra knows things that might help us." "It's too dangerous," the Admiral argued. "Their ships are everywhere." Lyra leaned forward. "There's a way. The hegemony follows strict patterns in their blockades. There will be a small gap near the old Earth satellite field. It's considered too dangerous for clean passage." Hana smiled. "More flying through tight spaces? That's becoming our specialty." The Admiral looked uncertain but finally nodded. "We'll send coordinates for a secret landing site. If you make it through, the world leaders need to hear what you know." As they ended the call, Hana looked at Earth, her beautiful blue home, now surrounded by alien warships. "We'll find a way," she said to Lyra. "Humans don't give up easily." Lyra touched Hana's hand gently. "That's what I'm counting on." Their eyes met, and both felt something new between them, a connection neither had expected to find so far from home. Hana turned back to the controls. "Let's save my world," she said, "and maybe change yours too." The Pathfinder slipped through the gap in the Valine blockade just as Lyra had predicted. Hana's skilled hands guided the small ship through a field of old satellites and space junk. Warning alarms blared as they narrowly missed a defunct weather satellite. "Almost there," Hana whispered, sweat beading on her forehead. They landed at a hidden base in the mountains of what used to be called South Korea. A team of soldiers surrounded the ship as soon as it touched down. Admiral Taewon himself came to meet them, his weathered face tight with worry. "Commander Park," he said with a quick bow, "and this must be our guest." Lyra stepped forward. Though still weak from her injuries, she stood tall. "I am Lyra of the Valine. I come to help Earth." The Admiral's eyes narrowed. "Your people have trapped us on our own planet. Why should we trust you?" "Because I risked my life to bring this warning," Lyra said simply. They were taken to an underground command center where world leaders joined by video call. Military officers argued about fighting back, though everyone knew Earth's weapons were no match for the Valine fleet. "We've tried sending messages," a general said. "They only repeat that we are under quarantine for our own protection." Hana stepped forward. "Lyra has information that might help us." All eyes turned to the alien woman. Lyra spoke clearly. "Your weapons cannot defeat the hegemony, but there might be another way." She pulled up images on a screen. "These symbols, have you seen them before?" An older woman in civilian clothes spoke up. "Yes, we've found markings like these in ruins around the world. Antarctica, the Gobi Desert, even underwater near Japan. We thought they were from an ancient human civilization." "They're not human," Lyra said. "They're from the predecessors." "The who?" Admiral Taewon asked. "An ancient species that spread life throughout the galaxy millions of years ago. They left outposts on many worlds, including yours." Lyra zoomed in on one symbol. "This means protection. This site might be more than just ruins." Hours later, Hana and Lyra joined a team heading to the Antarctic site. The ice station was cold and bare, but the excavation below was a wonder. A vast chamber of metal and crystal, untouched for millions of years. "We've been studying this for years," explained Dr. Kim, the lead scientist. "But we've never been able to activate anything." Lyra walked slowly around the chamber, touching symbols on the walls. "The predecessors built these outposts to protect developing worlds," she explained. "They believed all life should grow without interference. Exactly what your people are not allowing," Hana pointed out. Lyra nodded sadly. "The hegemony has forgotten the old ways. They fear what they cannot control." Dr. Kim showed them a central pillar covered in symbols. "We think this is some kind of control panel, but it doesn't respond to anything." Lyra studied it carefully. "It needs two things, the right command sequence and," she hesitated, "genetic confirmation." "What does that mean?" Hana asked. "The predecessors altered many species they seeded, including both humans and Valine. They left markers in our DNA." Lyra placed her hand on one panel. It glowed faintly but then faded. "I'm not enough, it needs both, a human and a Valine together." Hana looked at Lyra, then stepped forward. "Let's try." They placed their hands on the panel side by side. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, the entire chamber came alive with light. Symbols glowed on every wall. A holographic map appeared above them, showing Earth and the surrounding space. "It's working!" Dr. Kim gasped. Lyra began reading the symbols quickly. "This is a planetary defense system. It controls devices buried deep in Earth's crust and on your moon." "What kind of defense?" Admiral Taewan asked through their communication link. "Gravity manipulation," Lyra explained. "It can create fields that would make it impossible for ships to maintain position around Earth." Hope flickered in everyone's eyes for the first time in days. "But there's a problem," Lyra continued. "The lunar array is offline. Someone needs to go to the moon to activate it. Both systems must work together." "I'll write a 800-word story for part 1. First contact using simple Korean names and basic English in third-person style." The empty vastness of space stretched out before Commander Hana Park as she guided her ship through the darkness. The small vessel named Pathfinder was Earth's newest deep space explorer. Hana had been chosen to pilot it because she was one of Earth's best space pilots. Her mission was simple: map the outer edges of our solar system. Hana's black hair floated around, her face in the zero gravity of her cockpit. She tucked a strand behind her ear and checked her instruments. Everything was normal. She had been out here for 3 weeks now, alone except for the occasional video call back to Earth Command. "Just another quiet day," she said to herself, sipping from her water pouch. Suddenly, her ship's alarm began to blare. Red lights flashed across her control panel. "What now?" Hana muttered, her fingers flying over the screens to find the problem. The radar showed something moving fast toward the Pathfinder. At first, Hana thought it might be a large asteroid, but as it came closer, she could see it was a small ship. Definitely not from Earth. "Earth Command, this is Pathfinder," Hana called into her radio. "I've spotted an unknown vessel. Definitely not one of ours. Please advise." Only static answered her. She was too far out. Her messages would take hours to reach Earth. Hana had to make a choice on her own: run away or investigate. The unknown ship wasn't moving properly. It tumbled through space, trailing pieces of metal behind it. Something was wrong. "Someone might need help," she whispered. "The first rule of space travel: always help others in trouble." Carefully, Hana maneuvered the Pathfinder closer to the alien vessel. It was unlike anything she had ever seen before, sleek and silver with strange markings along its sides. And it was badly damaged with a large hole torn in one side. Hana put on her spacesuit and attached her safety line. "Here goes nothing," she said, pushing off from her airlock into the emptiness of space. Floating toward the alien ship, Hana's heart beat fast. This was first contact. No human had ever met aliens before. At least, not officially. The damaged ship's airlock was still working. Hana figured out how to open it and went inside. The air smelled strange, but her suit's sensors said it was safe to breathe. She took off her helmet. "Hello?" she called out. "Is anyone here?" A soft moan answered. Hana followed the sound through the small ship until she found its pilot. Lying on the floor was a being that looked almost human, but not quite. Her skin had a light purple tint, and her ears came to delicate points. She was beautiful, but clearly hurt badly. The alien's eyes fluttered open. They were deep violet and had no whites, just large pupils that contracted when they saw Hana. "Stay back," the alien said in perfect English, her voice weak. She tried to move away but winced in pain. Hana held up her empty hands. "I'm not going to hurt you. My name is Hana Park. I'm a human from Earth. I'm here to help." The alien studied her for a long moment. "You speak my language?" "No, you're speaking mine," Hana said, surprised. "How is that possible?" "Universal translator." The alien pointed to a small device at her throat. "Standard issue." She coughed, and Hana saw blood. It was deep blue. "You're hurt. Let me help you," Hana said, moving closer slowly. The alien seemed to make a decision. "My name is Lyra. I am Valine." "Nice to meet you, Lyra. Let's get you to my ship. I have medical supplies there." Hana helped Lyra to her feet. The alien was lighter than she looked, as if her bones were hollow. "Why are you helping me?" Lyra asked as they moved slowly toward the airlock. "Because you need help," Hana said simply. "That's what humans do." Once they reached the Pathfinder, Hana set up a bed for Lyra in the small medical bay. She had no idea how to treat an alien, but basic first aid seemed to work. She cleaned and bandaged Lyra's wounds as best she could. "Why were you running?" Hana asked as she worked. "Your ship was damaged in an attack, wasn't it?" Lyra was quiet for a moment. Then she said, "I was running from my own people, the Valine hegemony. They're coming to your solar system." Hana's hands froze. "Coming? Why?" "To quarantine your planet," Lyra said, her violet eyes serious. "It's what they do to all emerging spacefaring species. They will surround Earth with warships. No one will be allowed in or out until the Council decides if humans are safe." "Safe?" Hana repeated. "The hegemony fears new species. They believe they must control all others for the good of the galaxy." Lyra grabbed Hana's hand. "I didn't agree. That's why I ran, to warn you." Hana felt cold fear spread through her body. "How much time do we have?" "Not much," Lyra said. "We need to warn your people. We need to get to Earth." Hana nodded and moved to the cockpit, setting a course for home. As the Pathfinder turned, Hana realized everything had changed. First contact was supposed to be a moment of wonder and hope. Instead, it was a warning of danger. She looked back at Lyra, who had fallen asleep from exhaustion. An alien. A friend. Maybe. Definitely someone in need of help. And now, maybe the only one who could help Earth prepare for what was coming. The Pathfinder sped through the darkness of space, pushing its engines harder than they were built for. Inside the small cockpit, Hana kept checking the radar screen. 3 red dots followed behind them. "They're still there," she said, her voice tight with worry. Lyra sat in the co-pilot's seat, her purple skin looking pale. Her wounds were better but not fully healed. "Valine pursuit ships," Lyra confirmed. "They're faster than your vessel. They will catch us before we reach Earth." Hana's jaw tightened. "Not if I can help it." She tapped the controls, changing their course slightly. "We'll go through the asteroid belt. It's risky, but it might slow them down." Lyra's violet eyes widened. "That's very dangerous." "I know these rocks," Hana said with a small smile. "I've been mapping them for years." As they flew closer to the asteroid belt, Hana's hands moved quickly over the controls. The Pathfinder darted between giant space rocks, sometimes with only meters to spare. The hegemony ships are falling back, Lyra said, watching the radar. They're not willing to follow us in here. Hana nodded, still focused on flying. Good. Now tell me more about your people. Why do they fear us so much? Lyra was quiet for a moment. The hegemony believes that all new species must be controlled until they prove themselves peaceful. They call it evaluation, but it's really imprisonment. How long does this evaluation last? Hana asked. Sometimes decades, sometimes centuries. Hana almost hit an asteroid in shock. Centuries? Earth can't wait that long to join space. That's why I ran, Lyra said. It isn't right. My people weren't always like this. We used to be explorers like you. A warning light flashed on the control panel. One of the engines was overheating. We need to rest the ship, Hana said. There's a larger asteroid ahead with low gravity. We can land there for a few hours. After landing on the dark rock, Hana worked on cooling the engine while Lyra rested. When she finished, Hana found Lyra looking at pictures on Hana's tablet. What are these? Lyra asked. My home, Hana said, sitting beside her. That's Seoul, where I grew up, and that's my family. Lyra touched the screen gently. Your world is beautiful, so full of colors and life. What about your home? Hana asked. Lyra's face grew sad. The Valine homeworld is mostly cities now. We've forgotten how to live with nature. She looked at Hana. That's another reason they fear species like yours. You still have wonder. We've lost ours. They talked for hours as the ship's engines cooled. Hana played music for Lyra, classical, pop, folk songs from around the world. Lyra was amazed by the variety. We have only one style of approved music, she explained. Art is controlled. Admiral Taewan's voice was grim. The moon is heavily guarded by Valine ships. I can get through, Hana said. The Pathfinder is small and fast. Lyra turned to her. I should go with you. Hana shook her head. You're needed here to translate the commands. Dr. Kim and her team will help you operate this system. As Hana prepared to leave, Lyra followed her to the ship. You might not come back, Lyra said quietly. I have to try, Hana replied. This is my home. Lyra took Hana's hand, pressing something into it, a small crystal. This will help you activate the lunar array and... She hesitated, then leaned forward and touched her forehead to Hana's, a Valine gesture of deep respect. Come back safely, as... The Pathfinder lifted off into the night sky. Hana clutched the crystal tightly. The fate of Earth now rested on her reaching the moon, and on ancient technology built by a species that had vanished millions of years ago. Behind her, Lyra watched the ship disappear into the darkness, a strange feeling in her chest. She had come to warn humans about her people. She never expected to care so deeply what happened to them, or to one human in particular. The horizon touched down on the landing pad at Earth's new galactic embassy. Through the viewports, Hana and Lyra could see crowds of people and news cameras waiting to meet them. It had been 3 months since the battle that changed everything. Ready? Hana asked, reaching for Lyra's hand. Lyra's violet eyes showed a mix of hope and worry. As ready as I'll ever be. When they stepped out of the ship, cheers erupted from the crowd. Children waved small flags showing Earth and Valine symbols side by side. Hana smiled, remembering how different things had been just a short time ago. After the activation of the ancient defense system, the Valine fleet had been thrown into chaos. Their ships, caught in shifting gravity fields, had been unable to maintain their positions around Earth. Some were pulled toward each other, causing damage when they collided. Others were pushed away, out of Earth's orbit entirely. Supreme Admiral Krell had been forced to order a retreat. The mighty hegemony fleet had withdrawn, leaving Earth free for the first time in weeks. But the biggest surprise came a week later. A different Valine ship arrived, a diplomatic vessel. On board was High Counselor Terran, one of the hegemony's leaders. The activation of predecessor technology marks Earth as a protected world under ancient galactic law, the counselor had announced during the first meeting. We had no idea such systems existed here. Now, as Hana and Lyra walked toward the podium where Earth's leaders waited, Admiral Tae-wan stepped forward to greet them. "The heroes of Earth," he said with a deep bow. "Without you two, we might still be trapped under blockade." Hana shook her head. "We just found the key. It was Earth's scientists who made it work. And my people who are finally learning from their mistakes," Lyra added. She still felt strange wearing the new diplomatic uniform instead of her old military one. As the first Valine ambassador to Earth, she represented hope for a different kind of relationship between their peoples. After the ceremony, Hana and Lyra walked through the garden of the new embassy. Cherry blossom trees from Japan had been planted alongside strange purple flowers from Lyra's homeworld. "I never expected to be a diplomat," Lyra said, touching one of the purple blooms. "When I stole that escape pod, I thought I would be killed or imprisoned forever," Hana smiled. "And I never expected to fall in love with someone from another planet." They had tried to keep their feelings private at first. But during the battle, when Hana's ship had nearly been destroyed activating the lunar array, Lyra had broken protocol and shouted her feelings over the emergency channel. Now their relationship had become a symbol of what was possible between their species. "The Council has approved our mission," Lyra said, changing the subject. She still felt shy discussing their relationship in public. "The Horizon will be ready to launch next week." Hana nodded, excitement building inside her. Earth was just the beginning. According to the data they had discovered, dozens of worlds might have similar predecessor technology buried beneath their surfaces. Worlds where developing species were being quarantined by the hegemony or other powerful empires. "Do you think other worlds will fight back like Earth did?" Hana asked. "With our help, they'll have a chance," Lyra said. Her voice grew stronger. "The old ways of the hegemony need to change. All species deserve the right to develop in their own way." As the sun began to set, they watched Earth's new defense platforms glinting in orbit. No longer defenseless, Earth was quickly becoming a key player in galactic politics. Human scientists were working alongside Valine engineers to understand and improve the ancient technology they had awakened. Trading ships from a dozen alien species now visited Earth regularly, bringing new technologies and ideas. Human art, music, and culture were becoming popular across the galaxy. Humans were known for their adaptability and creativity, qualities that made them natural problem solvers. Admiral Tae-wan approached them again, holding a small box. "A gift for your journey," he said, handing it to Hana. Inside was a small tree sapling in a special container. "A piece of Earth to take with you to the stars," he explained. Hana felt tears in her eyes. "We'll plant it on every world we free," she promised. Later that night, in their quarters aboard the Horizon, Hana and Lyra looked at the star maps showing their planned route. The first stop would be a small planet called Tirius, where an insect-like species was just developing spaceflight. "It won't be easy," Lyra warned. "Not all worlds will have functioning predecessor technology, and the hegemony still controls most of the galaxy." "Nothing worth doing is ever easy," Hana replied, squeezing Lyra's hand. "But we've already proved the impossible is possible." As they prepared for sleep, Hana looked out at the night sky. Somewhere out there, other species waited for their chance at freedom, and the Horizon would soon be on its way to help them find it. What had begun as a rescue, one human helping one alien, had grown into something much bigger. It had become a mission to change the galaxy, one world at a time. And it had started, with two people from different stars who had found something unexpected: love across the boundaries of worlds. Tomorrow, their new journey would begin. But tonight, they had each other, and that was